the big dance. We are here. Season 2.1 Grand Final. And of course, it had to be the Storm versus the Sharks. Two of the biggest attacking teams in the league, two of the best defensive teams in the league. And they have made it through 15 rounds, through the entire final series. And we are here tonight to make history one more time in the SRL. I am AMAC to guide you through tonight's coverage, and joining me in the box tonight is Snicko Bro. Snicko, it is beautiful to be here tonight.
Yeah, very, very exciting to be here. I'd rather be on field, that's for sure, but this is the next best thing, and I think you're right. The two best teams all season are running out tonight here to put on hopefully a great show for us. It's worth touching. These teams did verse each other in week one of the final series, with Sharks getting the chocolates. And so Storm have had to do it the hard way. They went the long route and they fought their way through this grand final. Will history repeat with another Sharks win, or can the Storm turn the table?
Now, both of these teams have some awesome pedigree out there. On the Sharks, they have been full of finals experience. On the Storm, a bit of a young leadership team ready to take it to the veterans. And honestly, tonight, Snicko, I think it could go either way.
Yeah, I think that this was the exact same story last week for the Storm. They were up against the Broncos, who had a lot of elder statesmen within the SRL, and they knocked them off quite comfortably. And they're going to be out to be the giant killers once again, the Sharks. Many would consider them the favourites. I'm a bit more neutral. I'm not sure how this one's going to go, but I think if the Storm win, a lot of people might be surprised.
As both of these teams line up to listen to their grand finals, their state of origin worthy team out there for a lot of these boys, some of which played New South Wales, some Queensland, a couple in the Pacifica Challenge out there. There is a lot of experience, and the Sharks will have the first kickoff. Now, for the Sharks to win tonight, Snicker, who do you think needs to stand up?
I think the big things for the Sharks will be the two fullbacks, John Boy-Mayava in the first half, Matthew Harris in the second. They're probably the only team that's consistently employed that fullback switch throughout the season, and it's worked wonders for them. And if it works again for them here tonight, I think we could see them walk away with the Chockies.
Sharks, though, they've got first touch of the ball, and of course, it's big Poisia Foali who took the first hit up. The Shark forward pack, they have been dynamite all season, none other than their number 8 and number 9 with Vuvilakawa. King going up the tram track. Now, they're going to get here, from the looks of things, some pretty good first hit up here. How important, Snicko, is it to start off strong in your first couple of hit ups tonight?
Yeah, definitely. With both these teams have such attacking power, if either of these teams turn the ball over early in a set, it's going to be crucial, because you can just see the other team jumping on board and scoring points very early. So both sides will be looking to just complete for the first 10 or so minutes, try and feel each other out and settle their way into such a high pressure situation.
As Metcalf, the number 7, been consistent all season here for the Storm, makes his way up to the 20. Now, looking at the Storm, their team has been relatively unchanged, and honestly, why would you? They've fought tooth and nail throughout this final series, and they keep coming up with the Chockies as Turbo forces his way up the field, almost just shy of the 40. We might see our first 40-20 kick here tonight, and Metcalf, not the best kick off the boot. And, well, that's a bit of an inauspicious start here for tonight for the Storm, Snicker.
Yeah, not probably the kick that Luke Metcalf would have envisioned when he put that one through. And unfortunately, we spoke about, not giving the other team an early opportunity, and that's exactly what the Storm have done here.
As Werman takes the first hit up, it looks like the Storm, they're going to have first try for the line as Macquarie, big Nate Macquarie, forcing their way up, second tackle just shy of the 10. They come across the Sharks. They don't need to push anything too hard here. We're only just shy of 4 minutes into this, but it looks like they are almost over. Sinclair is forced back with a desperate tackle there, although that's a 6 again. Snicko, the Storm, they are looking desperate out there at the moment.
Yeah, and they're going to need to keep that up for the next 6 tackles. A 6 again is not good. As it looks like Sinclair's got his fend down, and he's going to score. Sinclair, stop him once, you can't stop him twice. He just repeats the dosage there. Almost the exact same play we saw moments ago. He fends off one and he's able to force himself down despite the valiant efforts of Luke Metcalf.
Yeah, that's never going to end well for the young plucky half, unfortunately, with big number 11 forcing his way through. It's one of those things where the second rowers, they have been getting their fend out a lot lately, and that was just big from the veteran Sinclair. Now, Kay, if he can get this across, that'll be a lovely 6 points in the lead, but unfortunately, it fades out too far to the right. And Cronulla, they are 4 points up early into this game, Snicker.
Yeah, points on the board is the most valuable currency here tonight, and the Sharks have struck first. I think that one thing to note is both the edges for both of these teams. So Tyrese Tonga are out for the Storm on that left edge, and then Lachlan Sinclair down on the left edge for the Sharks. Have just been dynamite all season, and you got to think both these teams will try and find those players early in this first half for some cheap line breaks like we just saw.
As Vivilakawa takes the first hit up off the kickoff. Now the Sharks are going to want to keep the ball rolling, keep trying to force their way up the field. They need this momentum to keep going because, well, as we've seen all throughout the season, when the Storm, they might start slow, Snicko, but they know how to pour the points on quickly when they need to.
Yeah, that is for sure. They were down, 8 points to nil last week, and they ended up running away with things. So the Sharks will have to be wary of that as we almost see a little mistake there, but Stinger King picks it up. That they typically have been a second half team, the Storm. So whether they're going to rely on that tonight, I'm not sure. As we just see another big time shank kick, but it's picked up by Riley Senior, who's going to go downfield, and they'll get a second bite of the cherry here.
Yeah, it looks like there's a bit of a cross breeze tonight. Some of the kicks just aren't really coming off for either team, and well, both 40-20 options have come up as a bit of a shank. Thankfully, though, the Sharks were able to recover, and well, considering how bad that kick went, they're starting in some really good field position here. The Sharks, or as I should say, the Storm, they're fighting out of their red zone here.
Yeah, the Storm will really have to roll their sleeves up and get dirty for the next couple of minutes. It looks like the Sharks have come out really strong these first 10 minutes. And so the Storm will need to absorb that pressure and then fly back with some of their own.
As Captain White, his first appearance in a grand final as captain, forces his way up. Good running there from the number 13. Weary Jones tries his best to get a bit more, and the Sharks are going to have to return with a pretty decent run here. But oh, that is again not what the Storm wanted. They cough up a bit of an issue there, and the Sharks, they're going to have another attack at the line here, Snicker.
Yeah, the bright lights of the big stage just blinding the Storm at the moment. They're really going to have to focus up as a group. Maybe it'll take the captain, Jack White, to get him into a bit of a huddle and give him a bit of a spray because at the moment, they're just not quite where they have been for the rest of the season.
Lopez playing the ball, second tackle. They've got all the field to play with, but they keep going up the middle with Willie Kay, who has had a bit of an auspicious move over to the Sharks halfway through the season, and it has paid dividends for Mayava's boys. Fourth tackle. They go blindside raid. Vivilakawa just taking a nice little hit up. They're going to play it 10 meters out and hope that their kicking game is on point. They throw it across. Lopez digs in. Oh, unfortunately, John Boy overran it, had to pull back. And the Storm, well, they survive another really dangerous attack there, Snicker.
Yeah, not a bad kick from young Jimmy Lopez, but Tyrese Tonga from the Storm was all over it, tracking back perfectly to clean that one up. And now the Storm, maybe they can take that defensive momentum and give themselves a bit of a roll on forwards. Because I don't think they've seen the Sharks' territory yet. That won't help.
That won't help at all. But thankfully, the young Broughton, he's able to hold on to it. And really, how lucky do you have to be to a rookie be parachuted into almost a grand finals appearance here? Tank, the outgoing VC, I should say, who recently announced his retirement at the end of this game. That is going to be some big shoes to fill come signing time, Snicker.
Yeah, definitely. I think that signing's actually anti-tampering list tomorrow. So you can expect to see a lot of captains messaging a lot of different players, and we'll have to wait and see how that all shakes out.
Exactly, as K. Good service out of dummy half. Vivalkawa forcing his way up to the 40. Third tackle. The Sharks, they're not going to have to rely on a 40-20 here. They're going to keep pushing and rolling up the field. But the Storm, it looks like their defense is starting to wake up just a little bit. They go blind. Here we go. They're forced back, and it is a kick once more. The Storm, they're slowly turning the screws here, but they need more than just defensive pressure tonight. If they can't get their attack on, well, it's hard to score points without good attack here.
Yeah, and forgetting just the attack, just field position in general, the Storm can't get out of their own half, it feels like. And they'll really have to, that offload will help. They really need to sort of string together a couple of consecutive line breaks and try and put some pressure on this Sharks try line.
As the Storm, they find themselves in the Sharks' half for one of the first times tonight, and it's been 15 minutes already. Turbo plays the ball third tackle. Straight up the guts with Captain White. That is a good run. One more good push here. They can have their first attacking kick of the night themselves. And, well...
Oh,
Oh, he's going to be feeling that one tomorrow, Snicko, as Metcalf fumbles the kick. And, well, that's just the power of a big hit there.
yeah, just ruined all the momentum in that. So I think it was Poisi or Foali who got the shoulders out. Lock on lock here. Unfortunately, just I couldn't match it with the big boy.
As Macquarie, another good hit up there from the number 13. As we're watching out there right now tonight, I should say, a couple of people, gremlins behind the camera. They're counting up some points here and there for SimVP points, which will be coming up. Well, announcement should be coming up very shortly, I should say, as that's another good run from Riley Senior. Gets up over the 50, and the Storm, well, they're going to have to fight out of their half one more time here, Snicker.
Yeah, I just think they need, whether it's one of their props, maybe Tama Turbo to get another line break. They just need some back-to-back line break efforts consecutively, as mentioned, because at the moment, if there was some sort of heat map that denoted the territory of this game, it would be all in the Sharks attacking 50, the Storm defensive 50, and it just makes it so hard for the Storm to put any kind of meaningful pressure on.
There we go with Pep Sanchez getting around one to work his way up the field. Ooh, they got it to Tama, but Tama, he was forced down really quite well. The Sharks, they know when Tama's got the ball on. It's like they've got a little bit of a tracking device on him, and that is a much better kick. It just didn't have the length to it. But again, it shows you how dangerous the Storm can be when they get their mind to it here.
Yeah, Metcalf just pulled that one out of nowhere, didn't he? And he absolutely launched it downfield. He went across the field to try and get that 40-20, and it was only a couple of meters short. So the Sharks, there you go, about 22 out from their own line. Even without the 40-20, maybe they can use this field position, the Storm, to hold the Sharks in their own defensive end.
Yeah, what the Storm need to do now, they need to force an error as... Whoa, there we
There we go.
go. Well, speak of the devil. Unfortunately, John Boy. Tank. He almost scores straight off the tap. First tackle. This is going to be dangerous here. 5 tackles in this danger zone as Jack White forces. And onto his back. Although not held up. They bring it back slightly. And we come across. Ooh, offload. Back and on his back once more. This is relentless attack here for the Storm and the Sharks. Somehow they're holding on, but you got to ask, Snicker, how long will it take before they before they break?
Yeah, I'm not sure if you saw in there. There was actually a hand from the Sharks. So it's 6 again. This is a 0 tackle coming up.
And well, this will be what? So 7 tackles on the line plus the other 3 that they've had. This is not what you want to see if you're a Sharks fan. And well, here we go. Storm come across. Tonga's got the first hit up of the set. He is forced back though, Galaxy. He has to play the ball 10 meters out. Second tackle, we come across. White launching out. They're spreading it wide. Pushing and pushing. And Tama, he can't get across 5 meters out. Third tackle.
Oh, that's lovely.
Oh, I mean, you don't get any better than that. That was some lovely balls through the hands there. And well, we're going to see it on the replay. Lockyer. A lovely pass out, and he is over. Barely a Shark touched him there, Snicker.
Yeah, Ryan Nolt with just a perfect little short pass close to the line. The Sharks have not been doing their video analysis because he's been doing that all season, and they just didn't read that whatsoever. Lachlan Locklear into a huge hole. And you're right, not a hand on him. He dove over untouched, literally right next to the posts. Is that a defensive failing from the Sharks, or is it just good Storm attack? I'd have to go with the former. It was great attack by the Sharks. They were just stuck on their heels, really. There was no lateral movement, and the Storm have made them pay.
Yeah, as you can see, we're about to hit that halfway through the first half. So you have to think some of those middle boys are probably starting to tire a little bit, especially with the relentless onslaught that the Storm were sort of attacking the line there for a second.
Yeah, when you get 10 tackles on the line, and good teams, they're going to make you pay, aren't they? And that's exactly what the Storm have done.
And here we go once more. The Storm, they're forcing their way up over the 10. And, well, that 2 points that Willie K unfortunately missed, it wasn't an easy kick he had out wide, but as you said earlier, Snicker, that's going to be really important, probably come back into this game.
Yeah, when you consider that the Sharks won last week, 8 points to 6, that can show you exactly how important 2 points can be. And so you just have to wonder, is that going to be the big moment? There's a lot of time left in this game for the Sharks to try and make amends, though.
And, well, here we go. Quinton Connors straight off the bench and straight up the guts. That is exactly what you need from a bench prop coming on to relieve some of the pressure and really heighten the pressure for the Sharks. As the Storm, they get to their 5th tackle option and they throw it across for a good kick. The Sharks now, they're going to have to fight their way out of their half. And, well, that's a wonderful kick for Matty Harris to have to come and bring it back.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's actually Matt Harris's first touch for the night. So the Sharks have done well. Sorry, the Storm have done well to keep them away from their danger man. Like we mentioned, him and Jumbo Maiava have been doing that switch throughout the season just to make sure that both their danger players get their hands on the ball. As Lonnie Lawrence, fresh on the field, gets absolutely folded there by the Storm. So they've decided they've turned up here in this grand final for the first time tonight to try into some tremendous line defense. That's what we want to see. Is we're going to look at a 2040 here. Travis Whitaker goes downtown and he might have nailed it. Tamaturbo in cover. He's not going to get there. The center has put in a 2040 and Anthony. That is exactly what you want to see on the big stage. The big players turn up.
Well, we have seen this all season, that it's not just the 6 and 7 pulling the boot out. We have seen kicks from 3s, 4s. I've seen a kick from a winger once. It just shows you the versatility of some of these players out here and what it takes to get your team to the big dance at the end of the game season.
Yeah, that's exactly right. These are the things that can separate the good teams from the bad. And now the Sharks, they're working short side. It goes to Stinger King. He gets wrapped up in a pretty good tackle, but the Sharks are in great attacking territory. They smell blood in the water here. The Sharks. Oh, and Jimmy Lopez has been absolutely clobbered. He drops the ball, and all the momentum's gone. I think we're going to have a knock-on called no advantage. That's exactly right. Jimmy Lopez, the young halfback, he's been good all season, and it looks like the Storm just put a target on his head because Anthony, I'm not a forward anymore. You are. That's what we like to see, though.
I mean, you've got 2 jobs out there as a forward. You got to take the ball and hit it up and not drop the thing. And then when they've got the ball, you've got to take their heads clean off, legally, of course. But well, we've seen how often throughout the season that hitting up and hitting the ball off. Well, the Sharks, they had a chance to score there, and now look at the Storm up the other end here.
Yeah, and they kicked it into their own backside. Gugu Maava comes up with it. And just like that, the Sharks will be back on the attack. So back-to-back errors from both of these teams. Oh, and we've just seen another one before Matt Harris makes something out of nothing. He's going to go down the right-hand touchline and be pushed into touch perhaps as he plays it. No, so it's great work from Harris out there as now Maava takes it. And I got to say, this right edge of the Sharks, they just haven't really been sighted here tonight. It's been all left-hand work for them as Quiet Madden plays a short ball to Lonnie Lawrence, the vice captain coming off the bench. I think we'd like to see him get involved as this game goes on. As now Sinclair, the try scorer, he'll be brought down about 8 from the line, pushes forward, makes it 5, 34 meters gained. Lopez has PTSD. He gets the ball once again. This time he goes high. It's a big bomb. Everyone underneath.
And Tama, they're up over the 10 once more. Here they come across. Potter, straight up the guts, forcing his way, and taken. Kai Madden, he has been another trader over, and, well, John Boy, he is loving some of the trades he's done already because they are playing big so far. Go. Lopez, forcing and forcing, can't break it. 2 meters out. Can they come across? The Sharks. Lovely pass out, and John Boy, he is over. His big number 13 linking up with his number 1. And, oh, I think we're in for one hell of a game out here tonight, guys. That was a beautiful pass there, as Snicko, well, he's ducked down to the loo, unfortunately. It looks like things were getting a little bit exciting there for him, as he is back for a kick. And well, 11 minutes left in the half, and it is 10 points to 6. And well, we both knew this was going to be a good game tonight, Snicko, and I don't think it's been disappointing to us so far just yet.
Yeah, not wrong. A dead set seesawing affair, this one. So exciting that I momentarily ran out of the box to get onto the field, but then I remembered back to commentary. And so here we are, Kai Madden with the hit up. I just wonder, in this game, we know how crucial the second halves are for the Storm. We saw last week just how good they were. Do the Sharks need a bigger lead, do you think?
Yeah, I definitely think they would, especially with what is happening out there tonight. You see when the Storm have the ball and they get in that
Oh,
attacking position, as we're about to see right now, we might see a change in the lead very soon, Snicko, as we yap away with a bit of commentary's curse there. Cotter plays the ball. 6 tackles in the 10 zone. Lovely inside pass. Can Tama get the ball down? No, he's forced back, unfortunately, for the Storm. And will it matter too much? Because, well, Noonan has to play the ball, and it looks like they
oh,
are
Tama.
over. He was forced back once, and now he's over. And we have one hell of a ball game right now.
Yeah, Tama Turbo, we saw moments ago he got held up over the line. This time he just hit the big 360 and the sidestep straight past his counterback, John Boy Maava. A bit of father-son interaction there. Who's who? I'll let you be the judge. But for the moment, you got to think Tama's going to put the Sharks back in that lead.
And, well, Tama, he's had a pretty good kicking season all season. I don't really have the stats off the top of my head right now, but you just have to remember that the Storm, they finished the regular season at the top of the point scoring table with 130 points differential, and well, they were the only team to score one under 200 points against. So the Storm, if they can keep going like this tonight, at least the stats are on their side, Snicker.
Yeah, and I'd love to see some, just over the last month, some second half stats from the Storm. Because it seems like every game they just run over teams in the second half. So 8 minutes left in this one until we get to the break. Obviously, you're going to be more comfortable. Oh, no. That's a knock on from Nate Macquarie in his in goal. Back to Quinn Cotter. I think we'll see no advantage here. Yeah, I've never seen that before, Anthony.
No, oh no, they've ruled that it's a Storm kickoff. That is a phenomenal brain fart there from the Storm. They've thrown it back somehow. Nate Macquarie has been the first to get to it. They've just overshot the ball, or as you said, probably knocked it on from the looks of things. And the Storm, they're the ones who have to do the drop goal. So, well, you turn up to the big dance and you expect something exciting, and well, there's nothing more exciting than almost dropping it in your own touch goal there, Snicker.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, everyone's coming out to play here tonight. The players and the referees all trying to get involved in this one. And yeah, I personally think as a spectator, both these teams just need to get to halftime and reset.
Yep, some good rotations should see the difference between both of these teams. As Matty Harris, they try to angle him over the sideline, but they bring him down just shy of the 10. Fifth tackle with 6 minutes left in the half, and it goes up for a kick once more.
Oh, not great.
Well, I say it goes up for a kick. The fifth tackle options, they haven't really been the best for either team tonight, and at least they haven't been punished too harshly just yet.
Yeah, I think Jimmy Lopez has put in a bomb, but apart from that, there's been just a lot of failed grubbers. So something a lot of teams are still really working on in the infancy of the new SRL is the kicking games, and that's fully on show here tonight.
It's Cotter. Just shy of the 40-meter mark. Doonan, he darts out a dummy half, pushes his way up over the 40. On
Metcalf.
the 40, I should say. Here we go. That's a 40-40 attempt there, straight into the arms of John Boy. And, well, I've said it once and I'll say it again. Kicking, it hasn't really been the best from either team tonight, bar one or two little examples here and there. With 5 minutes left, you basically say, hold on to the ball and don't shank it anymore.
Yeah, that's a very politically correct way to say that both these teams have been atrocious off the boot, which is how I would personally phrase it. It's been absolutely diabolical watching what's happened here tonight. And yeah, hopefully these teams can fix it up for the second half.
As we've got some good halftime stats coming up at the break, so do not tune off unless, of course, you need to go visit the Porcelain Garden. Lopez up to the 30. They get to their fifth tackle option. They're going to have to punt it just down the wing here from Stinger King this time. And Riri Jones isn't able to get around. So with 4 minutes left in the half, there's 2 points difference between these two teams. What do you expect these two captains will be saying in their shed, Snicker?
I think both of these teams will know it's 2 tries all really. Like forgetting the misconversion, this game's been very, very even, and it's been the back of mistakes that teams have been able to score. So they'll get a bit of a fatigue refresh night in that halftime break. They'll come out with a full head of steam. There's 40 minutes left in their seasons. For some of these players, Akatank, he'll be moving on permanently. Other players like Willie Kay is going to be forced out of Cronulla Sharks due to salary cap reasons. As a squad of 17, this will be the last game you ever play together. So go out there and make it worth it.
As Doonan passes back to Galaxy, who rockets it straight down all the way to Harris. It'll be interesting to see how Harris and John Boy do their little swip at halftime, whether or not that's going to have a little bit more impact. John Boy has scored one tonight. He's had some pretty powerful attacks, but as you said earlier in the game, that halftime fullback swap has been pretty important for the Sharks all season, Snicker.
Yeah, it's been instrumental, I'd say, in their rise to the top. Just the way that both the players have been able to inject themselves in their respective stints. I think John Boy's been above average tonight. Not terrific, but definitely above good. And the way he's played, he's scored a nice try and led his team well. So big shoes for Harris to fill tonight. Oh, Poisi with a great fend.
Oh, the Sharks, they had a good set there, but with 1 minute left, they're forced to kick it down to the Storm. And unless, of course, there's some heroics here from Weary Jones, which, well, you can't really do that when you're being smothered by a kick chase. This will be our deficit heading into the halftime break. Nolt forcing his way up the tram tracks, playing it on the 22nd tackle. Captain White, he's had a good captain's knock so far, but he's mostly been defensive efforts more than attacking efforts, as they cast up one with Akatank, and that'll take us to the break.
I'm just waiting for Kiss Cam to come on. On me. It's not happening. Do you like it? Do you like it? The environment here, do you like the footy? Yes, we're on. Yeah, we're live.
You're not you when you're hungry. Snickos.
Okay, looking at these halftime stats from the Sharks, they have had an explosive first half, but most notably from some areas you wouldn't necessarily think there. Jimmy Lopez with 111 run meters. He has been instrumental in making sure that the Sharks have kept into this game, even though, well, they keep turning the ball over here at inauspicious times, Snicker.
Yeah, 3 errors to go along with 111 run meters. I have to wonder, all season the run meters have been a bit funky. Does he have 111? I'm actually unsure about that. He doesn't seem to have run that much. I'd like to highlight Mechizi Ladik Vivalangawa with 66 across his first stint, a pretty good stint, and only 4 tackles in his 23 minutes, which kind of hints that when he was on, his side had a lot of the ball.
Yeah, if we keep coming down, a lot of these forwards, they're not really doing much. And, well, look at John Boy. 22 run meters for his fullback, 6 tackles out the back. He's got over for a try, which was pretty lucky off a bit of a storm brain fart in that first half. But, well, I thought he had a lot more impact than he did. But those stats, they're not really showing me what my eye test was showing me, Snicker.
Well, like I mentioned, the run meters have been dubious all season. Perhaps some of John Boy's ended up in Jimmy Lopez's basket, and we can average out, split the difference. Because, yeah, I personally thought he had quite a good first half. As we take a look now over at the Storm and see once again Metcalf 104. How do we feel about that?
Yeah, again, the Storm did have a lot of the ball, and the halves were doing what they did, but 104 run meters from Metcalf. If we want to say that Lopez had 111, then I suppose we got to say Metcalf. That's either funky or for real. So not as good a kicking game so far tonight from Metcalf, but uh, yeah, there's obviously a lot more ball throwing around here for the Storm tonight.
Yeah, I think the other thing to notice is that the line breaks for the for the Storm seem to be a bit more spread out. There's Quinton Cotter and Lachlan Locklear, 2 props with line breaks, and there's also, Tama Turbo and Hosea Riri Jones, who both have line breaks as well. So they're getting the job done across the park versus the Sharks, who seem to really be relying on their forwards, such as Sinclair, to get some points on the board.
Yeah, if you look at a couple of these forward stats here for the Storm, you got Jack White, who's done pretty decent in there. I've been saying he's had a pretty good captain's knock, not just the 90 meters he's run, but 17 tackles with only 1 missed, and it shows how intense that battle up the middle can be.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Tyler Doonan, the hooker, has 12 tackles as well. and then 10 for Tyrese Tonga around that left edge. So the tackles are starting to mount up here for the Storm. Will that be telling? And then comparatively, we spoke about Buvalangawa with 4 tackles in his stint. Lachlan Lockyer played the exact same minutes as him, and he has 11 tackles. So that just shows the first 20 minutes of the game, the Sharks had a lot more ball, and the Storm were doing a lot more tackling. But as the half went on, they sort of worked their way back into that game, and they've come away with the 2-point deficit at the halftime break.
Now, going back into the second half, you've said it a couple of times. Storm, they are a second half team. 2 points in front. They find themselves ahead of their rivals here, the Sharks. They have not beaten the Sharks once this season. Will this be enough of a lead to now force their way off, or will the Sharks pull some magic out of the bag and drag it back? Only time will tell, Snicker.
Yep, that's exactly right. All to play for the next 40, and we'll see you soon.
Injury lawyers for you. When you've had an accident that wasn't your fault, you need reassurance. Your lawyers need strength. You need guidance. Your lawyers need expertise. You need answers. Your lawyers need determination. You need protection. Your lawyers need courage. You need compensation. You need injury lawyers for you.
And we are back for the final 40 minutes of Season 2.1. The Cronulla Sharks are 10 points behind Melbourne's 12. There are 2 points in this game, 40 minutes ahead of us, and 2 teams who desperately want this SRL Cup. Nico, those halftime stats were pretty telling in terms of what this game was playing out in the first 40 minutes. What are you expecting from this final 40?
I just think if history tells us anything, it's that the Storm are going to come out strong. The Sharks are going to have to hold them very well here if they want to continue to stay in this game. And I think that the fullback switch, we've banged on about it a fair bit now, but the fullback switch for the Sharks, it's going to be very telling. It's been 15 long rounds. This is our 4th week of finals. It's been about 4 months worthwhile of Season 2.1, and we're only about 40 minutes away from crowning a winner. Neither of these two sides is going to want to throw this one away so late in the season.
Now, the Storm, they are fighting out of their half right now, quite desperately, I might add. The Sharks, they've come out... as I was saying, the Sharks, I was about to say how great their defense has been so far. No much defense is better than just smashing your opposition there, Snicker.
Yeah, there's been a bit of talk pre-game about how both of these fullbacks are going to try and come out and dominate the others. And I think so far the Sharks have probably got the hit sticks out the most. So we've just seen a ball come off the head. And talk about really not capitalising on your opposition mistakes there. Buvalangawa got in the way, and unfortunately for the Sharks, they've turned the ball over, and it was only tackle 1.
And that's real disappointing because the Sharks, they are running from behind the points right now, and they can't afford to botch those botch the chances they get when they get them, especially not against a side like the Storm here. As Metcalf forced back to the 30. 4th tackle, they're still only at the 30 here as they force their way up the middle of the field with Corcoran. A lovely fend off and a lovely fend back to Jack White. Gets at least to the 50. They finally get to a kick, and the Sharks, they're going to have a lot of pain right now to try to get themselves back up the field.
Yeah, that's exactly right. The Storm have done very well there to close out that set. And they're in the lead, so theoretically, all they need to do is defend well for the next 36 minutes, and the championship trophy will be heading down to Melbourne. But you can't count out the Sharks. They've been good all season. They know how to score points. Can they pull it out when the moment matters the most?
Oh, the big number 10, he plays the ball halfway between the 40 and the 50. A lovely little cutout ball. Cummins dances through the line and gets to the 40. The Sharks, this has been a great attacking set so far. 4th tackle on the 40. They come across. Macquarie back on the inside. They can't quite get to attacking kick range, but they just need to win this field battle position as they boot it off down. If they can hold the Sharks, if they can hold the Storm down here, if they can attack with their defense once more, they should be able to get themselves in another good position. But, well, when Ruby Jones returns it like he did just then, it looks like the Sharks, they've got a very, very difficult 34 minutes left to go.
Yeah, I think for the moment they're just playing percentage football, put the ball into corners and make the opposition to kick from deep within their own half. And that's what they're doing so far. And they're just throwing an interceptor. Foisi Fa'alii, he said he was going to make his mark on the grand final, and I think he's done that. Can they do what they didn't do moments ago and capitalize on this error? I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Whitaker plays the ball 10 meters out. They come wide. Gugu, lovely pass to Harris, who rockets it back to Lopez, who walks right through a hole, and there is no one between him and scoring and bringing the Sharks back into the lead. You need to see this replay again, people.
That's almost the exact same shape as what they threw at the Storm in the first half. This time, it was Lopez out the back. Earlier, it was Mayava, but both times they've just bit on that lead runner. Their edge have stayed wide and a huge hole's opened. And both times they've played the ball perfectly, soared straight through that gap, and now Will Kay will convert to put the Sharks back up by 4 points.
And yeah, never in doubt there, straight across. He was remembering that first kick of the game, 4 points in the lead. And for a team like the Storm, who usually come out firing in the second half, well, the intensity of the Sharks has just been a little bit overwhelming, it would seem.
Yeah, I think you're 100% right. They've come out with a point to prove the Sharks, and let's see if the Storm can come back. This game has been seesawing all game. The first, 47 minutes, it's been one team scoring, the other team getting back over the top. Do we expect that to change, or do we expect to see one of these sides start to take a bit of momentum and really gain some ascendancy?
Well, I think it's very much going to depend on who the next team is to score. If the Sharks score next, you can almost see them running away with it, with the Storm getting a little bit... Oh, as Whitaker has a lovely run from that. If the Storm can score another one, though, it's going to be up for the resilience of the Sharks boys, whether or not they can come back themselves as they spread it wide. And Poisia Foali'i, again, another big run from the barnstorming number 10. Am I right in saying tonight, Snicko, that it is definitely the Sharks forwards dominating out there?
Oh, until that big hit, maybe you would have been correct. I think that individually, the Sharks have had some big performers. Obviously, FPA's come out with a point to prove in the second half, but as a collective, the Storm forward pack's been pretty strong. So we'll have to wait and see how this one shakes out as we see another error. And who's there but Poisia Foali'i? And of course, I would be remiss not to mention Sinclair in the first half scored the try, had a couple of line breaks on that left edge.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see the full-time stats to see who is going to be crowned man of the match, because that number 10, that boy out there, he has been phenomenal so far. As well, they dance down the sideline here. This is where they've been dangerous. Whitaker plays the ball 30 meters out for tackle. All the field to play with, and they just run straight up the tram tracks. Mayava playing it just shy of the 20. It might have bomb center coming straight up now as Cummins. Oh, here we go. And... oh, Tama's back there, but that was a really interesting grubber there from the number 17, Snicker.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to see a potential captain's challenge, because that was a knock-on. I guess we're waiting to see if it comes off the knee or if he just straight up drops it. We'll have to wait and see what the referee says here, because I'm not sure.
Oh, it's unsuccessful. I don't know why they challenged that, because, well, it was going in their favor, and, well, the Storm, they brought it out 20.
Yeah, I think it might have been ruled a knock-on.
Oh.
And the Sharks are challenging the knock-on ruling. That's the only thing you could really logically draw from that one.
As Corcoran plays it there on the 30 for a second. They tend to go over. They love attacking down that side. They think they've found a little bit of weakness in the line, but the Sharks, they are holding on. They come back through the middle. Lockyer forcing his way up, 45 meters or so out. Fourth tackle. Again, they're still trying to come up the middle. All I can think there, Snicko, is they're trying to tire out those Sharks forwards because they've been so dangerous, but I don't know if that's what they need to do, the Sharks, the Storm, because, well, they're no longer in the lead and they need to be a bit more expansive here.
Yeah, perhaps they're thinking, just like the Sharks played high percentage football to get themselves back into it, if they could do the same, force an error here, that could potentially be their avenue into some good field position.
King playing it there on the 20. The Sharks, they've got a bit more field position to play. They can maybe go for a 40-20 here if they can get up the next line, although considering how the kicks have been going, I don't know if that's the one they want to go with. Stinger King forces his way up over the 40, probably out of 40-20 territory as they throw it back. As Lopez, no, he goes for it. He might be good here. It's bouncing, and it is... oh,
Over.
my goodness. He had a hell of an impact in the first half, and he's come back out in the second half and does kicks like that, Snicker.
Yeah, he just scored the try, now the 40-20. He heard us speaking about FPA as man of the match and thought he'd throw his hat in the ring, I think.
Oh, the Sharks They're almost knocking on the door here, but the Storm just keep turning them away. Throwing it across. Macquarie trying to barge his way over. He's forcing good post-contact meters. 3. Ooh. No. Force back. That was grand final winning defense there. Of course, if the Storm go on to win it, I should say. Okay. Oh, well. They stopped one and they just can't stop the other. We're going to go up to make sure he's put it down. But the Sharks, they're jubilant out there, Snicker.
Yeah, we'll just have to... Oh, he's knocked that on, has he?
Ooh.
It looks like he might not have grounded this
No,
one. Will Kay might have just dropped the trophy over the line. The referee on field, he had the best side of it, and he correctly called the no try. And that was the grand final. He scores that one. I can't see the Storm coming back at all. It would have been an 8-point deficit, 2-try game. And now 7 tackles coming off their own line. Could that be the big momentum change?
Well, they've got 5 minutes until they get some quick forwards, some quick interchanges back off the bench. And the Storm, they've got a 7-tackle set here. Tama, that was an excellent try-saving tackle there from the number 1. And, well, he's been one of their most consistent all season, Tama Turbo. So if that is the one that changes the momentum, gets them back across and gets them to score, we will be looking back at that 26-minute here, Snicker, for that game-winning option.
Yeah, definitely. I would like to see more from the Storm, though. Off the back of that, they just went 4 tackles straight up the guts. Not really effective, nor was it interesting to watch. So for the spectator, not the greatest either. And yeah, Willie Kay, he's transferred over mid-season. He's had a great impact. But this is his last game for the Sharks for salary cap reasons. Could that be the defining moment of his Cronulla Sharks tenure?
23 minutes will give us the answer to that question as the Sharks try once again to force their way up the middle. Speaking of, Will Kay plays it on the 30. Lovely pass out there down the wing here as we got some more momentum here for the Sharks. Momentum backwards, I should say, as the Storm push them on the 30. Not going to be a kick off the option here as Vivalakawa forces his way up and 5th tackle. The Sharks are going to have to punt it down the field. Hope that their defense is enough to keep the Storm down there. Mayava, not the best kick, unfortunately, but Tama is able to be stopped. And with 22 minutes left on the clock, the Storm look like they're starting to slow down a bit here, Snicker.
Yeah, they really had to front load this first half to make sure that they didn't get blown away by the Sharks. Will that be at the cost of, the second 20 fatigue? I'm not sure. As Turbo's into the backfield, making his 8-hour words, perhaps we spoke too soon. That's probably his first clean line break in about 60 minutes. Could he be the spark that ignites the Melbourne Storm fire, Anthony?
Well, if it's Tama's going to start it, these Melbourne Storm forwards are forcing their way up the guts to finish it. They're going to get themselves into attacking kick position here, and of course, Captain White's the one who's playing the ball. They come across. Calf passes it on, and, well, unfortunately, they spread it instead of kicking it, and the Sharks, their rushing defense is enough to turn that ball over. Not what the Storm wanted, but good signs with 20 minutes left on the clock here, Snicker.
Yeah, good expensive football, and it was a nice backline move, and unfortunately for them, they couldn't create the overlap. The Sharks just held firm and made that tackle, but good signs. We like to see sides when they're in a deficit like the Storm really start to throw some different things at the opposition.
Oh, and now they're backing it up with defense. The Sharks, they've moved exactly 1 blade of grass in the last 3 tackles. This is probably the most meters they've done so far, 10 up with Poisifo Ali'i. Macquarie, another one. They offloaded it previously, and now they're at least taking it themselves. They might go for the kick here now. And of course, it has to be Lopez. Unfortunately, he just doesn't have the angle. Ooh, and they're able to stop Tama. Tama, as this game keeps going, Snicker, he is looking more dangerous and more dangerous. And here comes some energizing subs. Whoop. Ooh, well. Oh.
I think the less said about that one, the better. They threw the ball away, the Storm. Got a bit frustrated, went for the torn one strip, and now the Sharks will punt the ball downfield. And they're going to have a full set in the red zone. Sound the alarm here because one more try, that could set off jubilant celebrations in the Shire.
Macquarie, they're the first to take it up. They'll be off the field in a couple of minutes. They would love a try. Stinger King almost gets there. 2 meters out. Where's Willie Kay? Is he going to go for another tumble over the field? Nope, he passes it off to Lopez. A lovely ball back on the inside to Walker, who runs it off and down the field. There's a chaser. Will he make it? He's going and going and going. 30, 20. He's dragged down desperately, but they've gone from the fire. Oh, everyone
Oh
out
my
there right
God.
now. Jesus. Well, for a long, long time, no one in the league knew who Jay Walker was, and now every single Storm in the blue, in the purple and the white out there right now are screaming his name because that might be enough to at least get them back in the lead, if not win them the game, Snicker.
That might be the best try in a grand final I've ever seen. He's picked up the ball on his 5 meter line, ran 80 meters, broke a tackle, fended off one, stumbled over the last end, but to put his team back in the lead with 18 to go, Jaden Walker, out of absolutely nowhere, has turned this game on its head.
Well, we came here tonight expecting to see two teams going absolutely hog wild on each other, and we have not been disappointed. There has been spills and hits, and well, almost 100-meter try just then from a number 17 of all people. 17 minutes left. Stick with it, guys. Hold on, because this game is not over, and we've got a long way to go.
Yeah, pay for your whole seat. You're only going to need the edge of it for this last 16 minutes. 2 points in this one, everything to play for. Championship trophy on the line. Can Jumbo Maiave inspire his men to take the lead back one more time? Or is it going to be up to Jack White from the bench in about a minute to watch nervously as the rest of his team carries on without him? We spoke about how good the Storm are in the second half, but I tell you what, that is not something I expected to see. The bench centre running the length of the field in the 60th minute to take back the lead for his team. That's the things that's what makes folklore. In 5 seasons' time, we'll be saying, "Do you remember the Jaden Walker try?"
And not just a Jaden Walker try right now, but on their 5th tackle option, the Storm have got another 6 tackles as Corcoran forces his way up the tram tracks there. 15 minutes left on the clock. We're about to see a couple of props run off, I should say, not props, locks. As the Storm, they try to bust their way straight up the guts and they pass it a little bit further out, tram track to tram track. 3rd tackle. Now is where the lungs are searing. Now is where the lactic acid really starts kicking in. Storm, 4th tackle. They need to get a little bit closer if they need an attacking kick here. And, well, Metcalf, that takes him out of kicking options. They won't get their bomb up. They will have to punt it, unfortunately. And they cross-field it from an Aka Tank boot. He is on the field for the last 14 minutes of his career, and he wants an impact. The Sharks, they're 2 points behind, and they've got a long way to get themselves back up the field here. And that is going to help with their big number 11 Snicker.
Yeah, Sinclair was dynamite in that first half, and he's come back on with a fence straight away. Maybe here's what the Sharks need to start swimming back into contention in this game. 2 points in it. 13 left on the clock. Still anyone's game. I tell you what, they're going to need to get away from this little dummy half rubbish if they want to make some meaningful meters.
Yeah, it works a little bit here and there if you want 5-10 meter gains, but they need more than that. They need good breaks down the sideline here, and they're forced to punt it once more and force on their, well, Weary Jones. He is a line break master. He's not able to get through this time in the Sharks. They've got 12 minutes to force an error here, or at least win back this field position battle as Tama gets around 1. Can he keep going? He gets at least to the 40s. Woken up in the last 5 or so minutes, and he is tearing the Sharks apart. Blindside raid. Lovely pass down the sideline there. Force back though, 40. 3rd tackle. They want to get a little bit further down. They won't want to rely on any 40-20 kicks here because that is where the tears come. Nolt plays the ball. They're working down this sideline a lot. They're shying away from the middle here and they're forced to kick it. But as you said earlier, if you're 2 points ahead and not a lot of time left on the clock, you just got to play some good football and try to defend this lead now, Snicker.
Yeah, exactly right. As Senor comes back with a good carry, and much like the first half, he's all been down this left-hand side of the field. The Sharks just haven't been able to get out of their own territory for quite a while now. In the Storm, they're just constricting slowly, like an anaconda taking down its prey bit by bit. They're choking the life out of this Sharks team.
Okay, plays it on the 40. Matty Harris dances out of dummy half again. Again, another set basically defined by the dummy half movements here between Harris and Kay.
Derailed.
Yeah, derailed. This is not what Captain John Boy is going to be wanting to see from his team. They get up into the Storm half to rely on a kick here, but 9 minutes, here comes Rory Jones again. Bit of deja vu. They force him back to the 10-meter zone. That is a much better kick chase there.
Yeah, 100% correct. But now they need to aim up well in defense. One thing that we've seen is the Storm have been able to make line breaks pretty consistently throughout the second half. And as a result, the Sharks haven't been able to get any good field position. And when they do have it, they concede 100-meter tries. So 2 points, it'll feel like a mountain right now for the Sharks. They need to score relatively quickly if they want to take home any kind of meaningful silverware in this game.
Oh, they throw it back. They don't go for the 40-20 option, which is probably decent. Galaxy sticks it under the arm and hits into the line. Only 36 meters gained on that set there from the Storm, and Tonga is kicking it off. Here is another chance for John Boy. Can he get his team back up the field? He piggybacks a couple of boys, and they start in a semi-decent field position. It's not where you really want to start at your attacking position to get down the other end, particularly if you're up against a team like the Storm. But you got to rely on your boys up the middle because this is where you need to go. 3 tackles left in the set. Who do the Storm need to get off the ball? Who do the Sharks need to give it to here, Snicker?
Well, if you consider how much Tama Turbo has affected this second half, the question has to be, where's Matthew Harris been? Sadly, the answer is right there momentarily, no. And he's been stripped, Matthew Harris, so all season the fullback switch has paid dividends for the Sharks, but tonight it seems to have come unstuck. Is that smart coaching? I'm not sure. As now Jai O'Neill picks up a forward pass, this could be the game-breaking moment for the Sharks. They finally have some field position. Look to Harris, look to Lopez and Maava. Someone needs to stand up here.
Oh, that was a disgusting forward pass straight into the hands of a running Sharks player, I should say. And John Boy is forced 25 meters onto his back, 3rd tackle. They need a really good push here if they want to attack the line, the Sharks, because the Storm do not give ground easy. And O'Neill is pushed back just shy of the 20. They go across once more. Werman, Sinclair, the 2 edges linking up, 15 meters out. And now they have to rely on their boots. Dear God, help them as they throw it back. Lopez puts it up and puts it high. It comes down into the back and is dragged down. Desperate defense there from the Storm. Grand final, possibly grand final winning defense there, Snicker.
Yeah, there's been 2 big moments really, hasn't there? There's been that tap back, Matthew Harris stepped one, but they came from everywhere to take him down. And then, of course, Willie Kay dropping the ball over the line. He would have put the Sharks up to 20 points. You just have to wonder, were those the 2 moments that lost the Sharks the grand final, or are they going to be able to come back with 4 minutes left in this one?
Oh, a lovely run there from Corcoran off the bench. He gets almost to the 30th, 3rd tackle. Back on the inside, here we go. Can the Storm bust their guts up? Here we go. 40-20 option. They don't want to shank this one. They can't afford to. They throw it back for a kick, and Galaxy puts boot to ball. And Galaxy, he has been dominant all season with the boot, and that's enough to force the Sharks to play it here, just on the other side with the 30. This won't be the last time the Sharks have the ball. You'd think they might get one more set after this, but, well, it looks like they're shaping up to force straight up the middle. That's not going to help them win this game out here tonight, especially when you're throwing it to Eddie White there, Snicker.
Yeah, Matthew Harris has had quite the inglorious last couple of minutes. First the strip, then the intercept. John Bayomarv must be pinching himself, wondering why he didn't leave himself at fullback. As a Storm, they're going to try and put a cherry on top here and really ice this game.
They play the ball. 2nd tackle. They've got all the field to work with, and that's a lovely drawn pass to Akatank, who forces his way down to the 20. 3rd tackle. They come across. Galaxy, lovely drawn pass, and it's hit off the ball and not called as a penalty. Mayava's run off up the field, and the refs, they've missed one there, Snicker.
Yeah, they just want to let the boys play. There's a minute left in the season, and they want to see how this one turns out, as do I, the Sharks. This is their chance. They need meters.
Cummins, he's forced back. 3rd tackle. Final minute left in the season. Whitaker. Oh, he's
Shepherd.
Lovely offload. Straight to Broughton, and that is game. With 50 seconds left on the clock, you do not see the Sharks getting the ball back unless there is a miracle. The Melbourne Storm look like they have won the grand final here, Snicker.
Yeah, the fans are celebrating in the stands. You can see them jumping around, barring a cataclysmic error from the Storm. They're going to take home the chocolates and a well-deserved season victory for them.
Captain White, he is already dancing out there. Akatank, the outgoing VC, the retiring VC, he is jubilant, and the Storm are your season 2.1 victors. They started strong. They've come at home strong. And my God, those boys look happy out there.
Yeah, I think you nailed it. They started well. They finished even better throughout this season. They've just built the whole way through. As we're going to look at the sad faces, Will Kay and his friend Nate McQuarrie there. Before we're back to the Storm, and aren't they the story of the season? A rookie captain, a team at the start of the season that many considered wouldn't probably be in contention, and look at them now. A terrific victory for them, a terrific premiership victory, and one that hopefully we'll get to taste one day.
And well, these stats, they're a little bit better than those halftime stats, Snicko, but they definitely, well, they tell us what a massive seesawing arm wrestle this game has been tonight.
Yeah, I'm just not sure about the possession. It says 63-37, yet the Storm made 10 more tackles. So perhaps something going on there. I'm not really sure. Otherwise, very, very even. Line breaks, meters gained, tackles, all very close. Unfortunately, just the 16 errors from the Sharks really hamstrung them in that game.
Yeah, particularly in the back end of the game where they were really working in their attacking footy down the Storm's end. It was not the best second half there for the Sharks, but well, when you're coming up against the Storm, who are a second half team, they took them straight to the line, and 2 points in a grand final. If you're a neutral, that is an awesome game to watch. I don't want to know what the tickers of these captains are doing right now. If we come across to some individual stats, and we'll start with the Sharks because, of course, they're first on the list, and they have had a hell of a night out there. Matty Harris ended up with 89 run meters to finish off his run, a couple of line breaks, not as much defending as he probably needed to do, half a game on the wing. Somehow got a try assist, so that's pretty decent there from his run on the field, but not the impact that I think he or his captain would have wanted here, Snicko.
Yeah, you're 100% right. He had that try assist to Jimmy Lopez, which put the Sharks back in the lead momentarily. But unfortunately, yeah, just probably not the impact. If you're going to rest the whole first half on the wing, you're really going to want to hit the second half with a bit of paces. Now we just go on even more. You can just see the tackles through the middle. 27 for Macquarie, 28 for Will Kay down the bottom. When your middles are making that many tackles, it's very hard for them to have some attacking impact, but Macquarie still managed to have the 128 metres. Lopez ran for 80 metres in that second half. He started with 111, ended up with 192. Vuvla Ngawa had a terrific 55-minute stint, 21 tackles, 50 in 56 minutes, 119 metres, and a couple of tackle breaks. I thought he really stood up, as did, if we can find Poisi Afawalei down the bottom. Yeah, 94 metres and 20 tackles, and I reckon 5 or 6 of them were big hits, along with 3 line breaks. If the Sharks were to get over the line, I would probably crown him man of the match, but unfortunately for them, it wasn't to be this season.
No, the forwards, they did their best, but, well, as we saw earlier, there was just way too many errors out there. Ugumayava, he came in halfway through the season, had to replace a man who shall remain nameless, which is unfortunate, but, well, again, another one of those boys who forced their way into the grand final with the Sharks. Willie Kay, 100 run meters, 28 tackles, only 6 missed this time.
Yep, that's a lot.
10 missed last week, so there's an
Was there? Right, okay.
Or it was either last week or the week before, I think. But he has been phenomenal for the Sharks all season, and probably likely to say one of the key reasons they made it here tonight, Snicker.
Yeah, without harping on too much about the trade, when you get rid of your best player and bring in a platinum, it does help. But much like Manly only a few seasons ago, and didn't help them enough to get the victory. So we're going to flick over to the Storm now.
Oh, well, Metcalf, 189 run meters, 11 tackles, 5 kicks, a couple of errors himself. It was not a good night out there for the halves, but he did enough to keep his team in the game, eventually in the lead. And, well, I think this is the first time Metcalf is actually out here in a number 7 full-time position. So to win a grand final in that jersey, that must be special for the number 7 there.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, of course, the other big meter eater, Jaden Walker, he ran the length of the field. He sealed the game for the Storm. 218, of course. 100 of those came in one effort, but that's still 100 meters outside of that within the one half. He's just terrific. 6 tackles, somehow missed 4, but you wouldn't hold that against him. As we can also look at Jack White, the captain, 150 metres in his 65 minutes, 30 tackles, only 3 missed. A great stint from him and one that he'll be proud of.
Yeah, well, we were talking about the Sharks and their defensive effort. As you saw up there, Doonan with 26. We got Tama, 17 tackles from the big number one. Somehow, 17 people got through the line that Tama had to tackle, and he still had enough effort in him to get 188 run meters, 4 line breaks of his own, a kick of his own, a try of his own, a phenomenal effort out there from the number one.
Yeah, you can't say he didn't have a crack, can you? He had a great game tonight. He'll be very happy with his performance.
Yep. And, well, Akatank, we've got to give props to the big number out there. 93 run meters in his final game, 17 tackles, 2 tackle breaks, 2 line breaks, a kick of his own when he came back out. For someone who is retiring on a high, that's exactly how you want to go out, Snicker.
Yeah, retiring with the ring, certainly the way to do it. The vice captain worked well all season with his leadership team, and they put together a very impressive Storm outfit. They should be very impressed, and nothing left to say but congratulations.
And as we say goodbye for one last time in Season 2.1, I've been AMAC in the box, joined by the ever-lovable Snicko Bro. The Melbourne Storm are your inaugural Season 2 winners of the SRL. Have a happy break between seasons. Get ready for some DMs from your captains, and we will see you next time.